Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. This time we are going to be looking at Evil Dead, the game. So this game feels a bit unfinished right now, or it feels like they just wanted to get something out while they, add more content to it. In some ways it feels a bit like the Friday the 13th game where it came out, it was a kind of a buggy mess, but it was still fun to play. And then over the years they added more onto it. So the first thing, it kind of locks you into a tutorial. You can play as either one of the survivors or you can play as one of the demons. So that's kind of fun. I haven't tried out the demon yet. I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to that part. I had a few hang-ups on the tutorial just because So you have to drive a car at one point, and I blocked the only, exit forward, so I couldn't quite figure out what I was supposed to do, and then eventually I ended up moving the car and found, this narrow gap that's just wide enough for one person to pass through. The tutorial isn't hard by any means. You have that giant line that you have to follow. You've got a lot of cues on what you're supposed to be doing. It's pretty easy. It's very hard to just die in this game. It's very, very simple, at least in the tutorial. In the couple of missions I played, it wasn't that hard either. You still have all of the button cues and whatnot, so that's not too hard to really follow. It's fine. You just sometimes need to remember to hold down the button instead of, actually just pressing it one time. They do give you a lot of weapons to play around with. You have plenty of items to, do what you need to do. You have your health items. You have you have some stuff to add some armor onto it, and then you've got some, just kind of some other weird stuff that kind of helps you out along the way. It's a pretty fun game so far. I haven't tried out the multiplayer, but I think that's probably where the game would really shine, is in multiplayer. So we'll get into the missions in a second, but I want to talk about how there's no story in this game. There's no single-player story mode that was added in. That's why this kind of feels a little bit like the Friday the 13th game, where you just had your survival mode, which was a lot of fun, but it was kind of lacking a little bit. That's what I feel like here. You have your multiplayer stuff, you have your missions that you can go on, but there's no 8 to 12 hour single player game that you can go through, which is kind of a shame, but for this being more of a budget title, I can understand why it's not there yet. The mission modes are kind of fun. They're usually just fetch quests, which are okay because you're still doing some kind of pretty interesting things. You can explore most of the region. I haven't really gone too far off the beaten path to really look at everything, but it's still pretty fun to just walk around and see kind of the weird stuff that the devs put in this. You can find these weird satanic places. Down here, you can find just everything is covered with bones. It's really awesome looking. And yeah, you just need to go to a few places in these missions, gather up some stuff, at least from what I've seen so far. And yeah, it's alright for what it is. The game looks really great. I'm really digging the art style here. I think it looks really creepy. The fact that it's kind of dark and rainy out makes it at least try to feel like a horror game. I would still probably rather be watching the movies than playing it, but that's besides the point. I think it's a nice attempt at an Evil Dead game. You're doing a lot of fun stuff. You can, hack your enemies up with your chainsaw. You get hammers, axes. You get some guns, which I'm absolutely horrible with. You get these nice little kill shots that you have, so you can kind of finish them off. It's a fun game to play. So I do kind of hope that they add in a single player mode, because I really would have liked it. Like, even if they had taken some of these missions and they had kind of stitched them together into something longer, I think that would have been better. Even like a couple hour experience where you were just going through the plot of like one of the movies, I think that would have been fine. Or even grab something from the TV show if that was even if that was even possible. Like I mentioned, I haven't tried the multiplayer yet. I've heard that there are like some problems with it where, it just kind of feels like they're still coming up with ways to fix things, like server issues, that kind of thing, which I feel like are almost standard at this point for most online games, which is a real shame, but I don't really have a huge problem with it. I guess if I wanted to play more multiplayer, then yeah, it would be kind of an issue if I was trying to go through that sort of thing. You would hope that the devs would have had that stuff worked out before, the game actually went to release, but sometimes it's just not really possible. It sucks for us, but I understand why they're doing it. I think there's enough content in here that, that it's kind of worth the price. Yeah, I just feel like if there was like a longer single player experience, as I've mentioned plenty of times, this would have been a better game, at least in my opinion. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.